I'm not psychic, but I have this funny feeling like you're distracted all the time now. And you have this anxiety in the background, maybe some depression from not being in control of your life, your emotions, your energy anymore, and it's getting worse every year, isn't it? Like you don't even realize you're the crab being boiled alive in the pot by this thing. But wait, do you remember when you were a kid and you had that sense of joy and wonder and play and curiosity and meaning just from being alive? You can get that feeling back. And yes, it does involve using your phone less, but we're not going to talk about vague ideas of using your phone less. We're going to use the 3-hour rule, which is clear. It's free. There's no app. There's no catch. It's just you reclaiming your life and your energy. So let's talk about it. This is obviously a screens thing in general, but we're going to focus on phones because that's where the problem is for most people, but we'll cover some screen stuff as well. So here's what you might already know. Smartphones have been around for over a decade. But the problem's only gotten worse, and COVID got it to the point where everyone's hooked now. And now it's not uncommon to see people driving and texting. It's reached absurd and dangerous levels. And that's because nothing in reality can seem to compare to the drip that this thing gives us. And tech companies will only get better at making us more addicted, and VR and AI are a whole nother beast coming down the pipeline, waiting to make reality pale in comparison in terms of stimulation. And we're only a decade into playing this game. So as the years and decades pass, people will become more anxious and depressed and lonely and dysfunctional, and plain old reality won't be able to compete or even seem tolerable for a few seconds before they have to reach for a screen. So if you don't want that to be your life, do something about it now while you still can. And that's where the 3-hour rule comes in, and you might have doubts and insecurities about whether you can do it, but we'll cover all that. The 3-hour rule is only check your smartphone or any screen for non-work related reasons once every 3 hours for a maximum of 10 minutes. And only check your phone or any screen after completing at least a 1-hour morning routine so that you set a rhythm for your brain and body that isn't craving it. All right, let's talk details. No touching your phone when you wake up. Do a morning routine that takes at least an hour to complete before you touch your screens. And I can already hear people saying that doesn't work with my lifestyle, but realistically, you can shift your sleep schedule an hour earlier to give yourself the gift of that morning routine. Start with a cold or contrast shower. These are just ideas. Go for a walk to get morning sunlight in your eyes. Stretch, work out, meditate. Subscribe to this channel if you want guided meditations to drop you in a flow state quickly. Eat a meal. By the time that's done, set an alarm for 10 minutes. Use your screens for 10 minutes. But if you do that morning routine, especially the meditation, you'll feel so relaxed and present and good that most days you won't even be eager to get on your phone. You'll just want to do whatever you need to do efficiently and then get off. And when that's done, set another alarm for 3 hours if you need to, and resolve firmly to not use your phone or screens for non-work related reasons for 3 hours. And you will probably feel some withdrawal and restlessness at first, but eventually your brain will just kind of surrender and go, I guess I have no choice but to engage with reality, and your dopamine receptors will start to upregulate, your brain will come online, your body will come online, start to build that energy, and you'll feel good. Of course, this is assuming that your sleep, your nutrition, the other basic building blocks of physical and mental health are in order, but even if they're not, this will give you the time and energy to handle those things that you might have been using screens to ignore. An obvious exception to the rule is work, but make sure you block out time to do work on screens and then do just that. Make sure you're firm in that rule so you can enter a flow state of efficiency, of creativity, with no escape hatch. If you need to take a break, go for a walk, dance, do something physical, come and dive back into your work with no distractions. Another exception is if you need to coordinate an important meeting or call, in which case check your lock screen, see if the relevant person has texted you, open up the phone, text just them and no one else, and then close the phone immediately. If you need to be the one to initiate it, open up the phone, text just them, close the phone immediately. You see the pattern here. The idea here is to minimize any unnecessary checking of phones or screens, so you give yourself the maximum runway to enter that flow state and that relaxed presence, as opposed to continually interrupting it by checking your screens. So if you want to watch a show or a movie or a video or listen to a podcast or music, what do? Well, these things can become a massive time sink, and they're often just an excuse to distract yourself from the restless energy that you don't want to deal with, which, side note, check out the letting go technique on my page to release that energy and not even need to distract yourself most of the time to begin with. But there's a million of these things that you could be watching or listening to, and honestly, most of them are, I kind of want to listen to this, or I kind of want to watch that. And if you're willing to engage with that, you'll just be watching and listening to things endlessly for the rest of your life. You'll never get to the bottom of it, and you'll just be overstimulated by mediocre crap forever. So the rule here to abide by is, if something gives you a visceral, F yes, I must watch or I must listen to this, then do it. But over the course of a week, you'll probably stumble across one or two, maybe a couple of those things. And if it's more, you're probably kidding yourself as an excuse to stay glued. So if you come across an F yes thing in one of your 10-minute windows, for example, schedule a time to watch or listen to it, or part of it if it's long. and then really enjoy that and resolve to get off and to a non-screen related thing, which we'll cover in a moment once that window is done. That way, you'll truly, fully enjoy things that really resonate with you, the truth, the meaning, the beauty and art of it, as opposed to just not fully enjoying anything because your mental palate is being bombarded by everything all the time, all at once. One final detail to keep in mind is to aim to schedule it so that your final 10-minute window happens no closer than 1 hour before bed. That way you'll minimize any unnecessary blue light exposure that'll disrupt your sleep quality, you'll unwind nicely before bed, and if your final window looks like it's going to happen closer than an hour, I recommend just skipping it entirely and doing any screen-related activities in the previous 10-minute window. So what are you going to do with all that free time? Pretty soon you'll be making excuses saying, I got nothing to do. But nope. Bust out one of these sticky notes, write down things I can do during non-screen windows. Do it now while it's on your mind. Write down any creative ideas that pop in your head. And here's something to get you started. Number 1, read physical books. You remember these? This is my number 1 recommended book, by the way, Letting Go by David Hawkins. So if you're anything like me, you think that podcasts and TED Talks are the most clever, efficient ways to consume information. But I'm going to include a link in the description with a really compelling argument from Stephen Kotler, where he talks about how reading physical books is by far the best ROI on your time in terms of learning. So if you want to up your intelligence, your imagination, your attention span, use your 3-hour window to read more books. Number 2 is people. Go meet someone in person. Go invest in a friendship or relationship you already have. Go do a new activity and meet new people. Strike up a conversation. Get out of your comfort zone. Call someone on the phone. Not on FaceTime. Put the phone in your pocket and have a good old-fashioned phone conversation. Take the 3-hour block to engage your neurochemistry in the way that it's designed to do for face-to-face contact, and that'll be infinitely more satisfying than just going to your screen. The third thing is, and you might be shocked by this, meditation and emotional work. So these windows will allow us to reclaim silence and stillness in our life. And if we can do it outdoors or in nature, even better. But either way, practicing meditation daily will allow us to strengthen our focus, our resiliency, your sleep quality, your listening skills, all the benefits you hear about in terms of meditation. But doing some daily emotional work in the form of the letting go technique, tapping, somatic experiencing, that'll allow you to unpack old suppressed emotions that are often the real source of your stress, your triggers, the reasons why we have to escape through screens and other addictions to begin with. So these windows will allow us to kind of have like a why not type of feeling where we can finally dive into these practices, unpack what needs to be unpacked, strengthen what needs to be strengthened, and start feeling way better aligned and connected to a sense of purpose. Number 4, physical activity. Whether it's sports or exercise, I suggest doing something fun that gets you moving, ideally with other people. By yourself is cool too. It can be relationship building, skill development. It can be fun. It can be aesthetics. Whatever gets you motivated to get into the physical flow and the pure joy of that, which will be way deeper during your non-screen windows. Number 5, and the final tip, is a fun hobby. Something that you're interested in, that you've been putting off, maybe you didn't have time for. It took too much patience and energy that you just didn't have, but now you do because of your windows. So take it as an opportunity to dive deeply into one or several of these things, master them gradually, savor them fully. This all sounds nice in theory, but how do we actually make this happen? To make this a reality, it's going to take you sitting there right now, watching this video, and deciding what you're realistically going to commit to if you know this is something that you want to benefit you in the big picture of your life. I suggest starting with a 1-week commitment, and then re-upping 1 week at a time after that. But ultimately, it's going to take you waking up every single day and remaking a daily commitment, and then even retracking throughout your day if you slip. Don't aim to be perfect, aim to be highly consistent. But I cannot stress this enough. The key is to make a clear, firm commitment to this every single day and throughout your day. Without the clarity and the firmness, it's like, I'm trying to do that thing, yeah, and then you'll just get sucked back into your screens. So the key is clear, firm commitment on a daily basis. And you will make it happen. You will get as much out of this as you put into it. Also, reach out to someone in your life who might want to do this with you as an accountability buddy and do it together. Keep each other on track. But even if no one wants to do it alone. Either way, sit down right now. I suggest pausing the video and grabbing a sticky note and write down on that sticky note right now, if you're serious about this, the rule or your version of the rule and the details if you want to adapt it. The length of time you want to commit to. It could be a week to start. And the reasons why you're doing it. It could be more energy, focus, flow, good vibes, relaxation, better relationships, deeper sleep, more appreciation for meaning, beauty, art, feeling life more deeply, whatever motivates and inspires you. And right at the bottom, clear, firm commitment, daily. and put that in a place where you're going to see it every single day. It could be the middle of your bathroom mirror, so you have no excuses. And then make that clear, firm commitment every time you see it, and read it to remind yourself. Some tools. Use blockers or screen time controls if it's helpful. Put your phone or screens in another room during your windows so you're less tempted to use them. Turn your brightness all the way down or put your phone on black and white mode so it's less appealing. And tell the people in your life that you're doing this so you don't feel pressured to respond to them instantly, as many of us are now accustomed to doing. What to expect? Well, at first your energy might start flooding back, and then you could have a struggle phase. Or you might feel withdrawal, and then slowly start to feel your energy return. It's different for everyone. It usually levels out after about a week or two, but the idea is to keep going, keep recommitting, and your energy and focus will start to return, and you'll start to feel a stable baseline as your brain and body adjusts to enjoy reality itself. So decide what it's going to be right now. Don't talk about it, think about it, maybe do it later, or it's probably not going to happen. Letting go of addiction and reclaiming your life is never an easy process, sometimes weirdly even less so when it's a socially condoned addiction like screens and phones, so I suggest just diving in now and thanking yourself later. Feel free to share any questions, experiences, progress in the comments, and share this with anyone you think it might benefit who wants to make this shift but might not have the structure yet to make it happen. Have fun, and good luck.